And good morning. Here we go on this wonderful April 15th, 2021, episode 9, Going Outside, Getting Older, and Fixing Broken Dependencies. My name is Mason Egger, and it's great to welcome you to another episode of Cloud Chats.
What's up, everybody? Welcome.
Hello. How's everyone doing?
It's going pretty well so far. Decent morning. My key light fell down last night somehow. I had to put it back up this morning, but I got it. So I love it when inanimate objects decide to move themselves across my house. It works.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm just reeling from it's already Thursday.
That's also sad.
I like blinked and the week went by. Hey Joe, hey Baxter, what's up? Hey Andy. Thon, first one in chat. What's up? Welcome everybody.
Yeah, it's great to see everyone this morning. Actually, I think Thon's comment was like 2 days ago. I remember coming in and seeing that. So, it's great to see everyone. So let's go ahead and get started with our cold open this morning. Chris, what was your favorite non-tech subject at school, and where would you be now if you hadn't pursued it? What would life look like if you never decided to start making web pages?
So my upbringing was very school heavy. I was like valedictorian at my high school, straight A's, the whole whatever. So if you have to pick like what my favorite was, if my mom is listening, I'd have to say all of them. If I enjoyed chemistry, I did 2 years of chemistry and I enjoyed it. But I think the problem with like school like that is connecting the financial job after the fact to your interests in school, right? Because if you ask me today as an adult, I don't even know what a chemistry like path looks like. But that was always fun. I've always been a big fan of math, and I do think that math helps me become a better developer, just like the logical brain. So math and chemistry.
Nice. I mean, I guess chemistry kind of, the one thing that comes to mind is like pharmaceuticals, I guess.
Yeah,
like
that's
biochemistry.
True. My cousin, she was getting into coding, and her family was like, you know what, it has to be medicine or law, one of the two. So she went into pharmacy. She was a pharmacist for a while, and she's just now. I kind of finally lured her over to the dark side. She is now switching her career to tech.
Sweet.
Yeah.
That's pretty nice. Matt, what about you? We're actually in university right now, so like you could still change. It's not too late, Matt. You could leave us.
No, I'm studying computing at uni, so it's reasonably set in stone. If I hadn't done tech, I don't know. I enjoyed art, but not the painting and not the drawing. I was kind of more into the graphics and the photography side of things. But kind of like actually not a subject. My favorite thing at school was our theatre tech team. So we did all the tech for productions at school. And it's kind of actually quite, for a fair few years, it was where I wanted to go when I finished school. And then I kind of decided coding was the better option. And given the current global pandemic, I'm quite glad I went with coding, because there are not many tech theatre jobs out there currently.
Why did you stop? Like, what was there a big thing that said, you know what, I think coding is the way? Like, what was the fork in the road?
It would have been my final exams at school that kind of stopped it. So I used to do it every Sunday. I used to volunteer all afternoon to go and do tech theatre stuff. I stopped doing that for exams so I could study. And I kind of just never got back into it. I took 6 months off to do my exams, and by then I couldn't rejoin the group I was in previously because I was too old for it. I just decided coding was the easier option at that point.
I wonder how many people get into coding because they think it's the easier option. That's kind of my boat. When I was in college, I was like a CS degree, which kind of is annoying, but or I'll just like freelance on the side and do that and make these little websites.
Interesting. Yeah. Oh, it's So you can't see it because it's in my thing, but the music degree that sits below my computer science degree tells you what I was already doing before I decided to just do tech. I entered university as a music education major. I was going to be a band director, and something that I had wanted to do for a long period of my life. And at some point, I just kind of got disenfranchised with music education. Not because like I didn't enjoy it, but just I wasn't really feeling it. And I had done computer science in high school, and I had stopped doing computer science when I went to college, and I found I really missed it. Like, I didn't think I would. Whenever I was deciding, am I going to pursue music or am I going to pursue computer science, the notion of having to do calculus terrified me because I'm bad at math. Mm-hmm. So I just didn't. I just avoided it because I thought that I was just going to be bad at the entire subject, and then I wasn't. And then within my first semester, I got hired to teach labs at the university because it turns out I actually did know what I was talking about. And it kind of snowballed from there. Like I didn't really know where I wanted to go, but I kept experiencing way more success in the tech side of my career and of my degree than I did the music side. So I was like, let's see where that takes us. At the end of the day, I just wanted to be a teacher. Which is why I think developer advocacy works so well for me, because I get to be a teacher and a software engineer at the same time. It's kind of a unicorn, but it worked out. So I'm happy with that.
So we've got a few in chat here.
There's one that I want to call out.
Wasm. Is that, I don't know. I'm bad with names. Physics and robotics.
That would be fun. Shooting large robots at Mars sounds like a fun hobby.
Yeah.
NASA seems to
how accurate those people are.
Okay, so you do know the story where like they're not always accurate, right? There was so in my CS 101 course, my professor made us read a article where they were sending a probe to Mars, and one of the scientists used imperial systems and the other one used metric, and they never consolidated. And whenever it approached Mars, it didn't slow down, so it basically just hurtled into the surface of the planet, and we spent a couple $1 billion to shoot a bullet at Mars.
I will say though, if that is the problem, imperial metric, it's a miracle they even got it to hit Mars at that point.
You're right. You're right. I think it was just whoever got to that part of the code base got to write it the way they wanted to, and they never like double checked. And I honestly, I don't know how you it's kind of hard to test, the Mars thing. Like you only, So really while they are very good at what they do, and they're amazingly good at it, they do still make mistakes, which is, I think, kind of funny. It's like watching a professional musician who like never misses a note. They miss that one note every 6 years. Mm-hmm. And it's really fun to watch because it's like, oh, they are human.
Yeah. I like, for example, SpaceX. That's why I love them so much. They live stream everything. We've watched them blow up rockets for 5 years to get to where they are now. I think it adds so much. Yeah, as you said, it makes the company human.
Okay, which comment did you want to bring up, Chris?
I wanted to bring up. Well, Ryan Kirk has a funny point here of a physicist using imperial is sacrilege.
You're right.
The one I did want to call out. Oh, where is it? Only code.
That's what I was waiting on. I was thinking you only want to see. We all do. I think I'm the only one. Samantha, our back-end manager, has seen it. Chris has not in person. I have, and I didn't realize it was a big deal. And
I haven't even seen it digitally.
Well, it's a secret.
One day.
It is a secret. That's
in chat here. We've got Dustix wanted to join the ambulance service. I don't know. I think that's really cool.
It is really cool.
Major respect for everyone that works in the healthcare system. So
I couldn't do it. I don't like I have to turn away like when they on doctor shows when they're doing like the surgeries and stuff. And I know they're fake and they still I can't. So yes, anyone who can do that, good for them, because I can't. Like everybody be dead if I was the ambulance person.
What else we got? Let's see.
Yeah.
Can we all agree that episode 100 Matt shows his face?
I don't know. That's the maths
200.
We'll see.
We'll see.
How far is that out?
That's like 2 years.
We're on 10 almost 9 right now.
It's 52 weeks in a year. It's going to take almost 2 years.
Maybe. I don't know.
I think he does it really quick, like a flash, and then turns it off. Like
Yeah.
It could even just be a picture of yourself. And you just
those exist if you know where to look.
I know where to look, but I'm not going to say anything. So, okay, well, this sound means that it's time for recent tech news. We're going to move on to Newsflash, the portion of our show where we talk about the current things in tech that have us excited. But now, instead of awkward pauses where someone says the word awesome, we have really cool sound effects because I have nothing better to do with my time. So when you hear this sound, it means we're moving on to the next segment, or moving on to the next Newsflash. So our first one, once again, comes out of the land of cute little dinosaurs. Deno has released version 1.9, bringing with it some bug fixes and more performance improvements, including a brand new web server. The new HTTP server is a native and fully featured web server implementation built with Rust to provide maximum performance, joining the existing HTTP 1.1 web server that is built directly in TypeScript.
I did a Node app yesterday, and I'm surprised at how much of my old knowledge transferred over to today's land.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I guess at this point, it's like, just make it faster, and that's cool.
Yeah. Well, I think it's really interesting that they've chosen to do it in Rust instead of in TypeScript, which makes sense though, right? You know,
there's a lot of
things
things.
Is a weird kind of concept.
There are a lot of things that I'm seeing like Rust starting to take over. I mean, I think it was a couple months ago that like Rust was starting to outperform C on very certain benchmarks.
Nice.
Which is interesting because I don't think we've seen that yet. So that's going to be really interesting to see what happens with that. I actually don't know what any of this means. I'm just letting y'all talk about it.
It's a web server. It's faster.
I thought Deno was a JavaScript library, or is that Dino? Okay,
no,
but it
Deno
also
is the JavaScript runtime.
But it has is this like the web server that's like inside of the?
Well, no. If you want to run a web server with Deno, like, you know how we use Node for client-side and server-side web apps?
Yeah.
That's a web server, right? To receive requests and send responses.
Oh, okay. I don't know anything about the JavaScript
like
terrain whatsoever.
Let me convert this to Python speak. Kind of like Django.
But Django's a web. Well, yeah, but Django is just a framework. Like, it's not a web server, and they actively discourage you from using the built-in web server. They're like, no, please don't. Please use Nginx and WSGI. So that's where I'm kind of like, I didn't know that in Node you use the Node server to serve things. I mean, it makes sense. I wish that the Python one would have done that, but that's actively discouraged in Python space.
You proxy it still, but somewhere your Node app has got to have an interface.
Oh, wait. It's like, really? Okay, is this true? I need the JavaScript experts to.
Yes.
Well, I'm just mind blown.
That's how they named it. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you, Ricardo. You've blown my mind. So Node usually stays behind a proxy. Good to know. Awesome. Learning new things every day.
But the fun thing here is if Rust is so performant, and we're getting WebAssembly support, and WebAssembly can come back from Rust, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Does Rust already natively compile down to WebAssembly? I know Golang can.
I have this recollection that it does. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've been mucking around over here. We got C, Rust, Swift.
Of course. Kotlin. Yeah, Kotlin's a big one.
Go.
Interesting.
I feel like Go and Rust will be popular.
Go does. There's actually a current movement of rewriting Python as WebAssembly, so you could run Python natively in WebAssembly, which would be interesting in and of itself.
Oh, that just like part of my body just cringed because my brain instinctively goes, Python is really insecure. Do I want to run that in the browser?
Python's not terribly insecure. It's only insecure if you do it wrong. It's just slow, and it has a gill.
Have you ever been on the internet, Mason?
I have been on the internet. Things right? Well, that's the only. Everything is insecure unless things are done right. Okay, so we have to do things right. Our next story comes out of the land of corporate open source. In response to Elasticsearch modifying its license earlier this year to prevent cloud providers from selling it at an upsell to customers for a profit, AWS has announced the Open Search project, which is a open source fork of Elasticsearch and Kibana 7.10.2. So, yeah, this has been an interesting to watch unfold.
For sure.
Because if I recall correctly, Elastic changed their license so that AWS couldn't continue to basically take Elastic and sell it to customers as a managed service.
Yes.
And AWS's response is, well, we'll just fork from the last version where we could, and we'll make our own. So this is basically like I'm picking up my toys and going home kind of thing.
Yeah, but I don't know. I see this in a really positive light, right? Elasticsearch is no longer kind of licensed in an open source friendly way. And AWS have gone, you know what? We'll keep actively maintaining an open source version. So
it is interesting. That one was a really, I don't know, this whole situation is just messy, and I'll just let them figure it out, and then we'll come back and see where the sticks lie. So I think this is going to be it, though. I think this is how it's going to be going forward.
I'll say it's just I'm going to wait for the adoption of OpenSearch to happen before I say anything more. Really.
Yeah, that's. I'm sitting here quiet. It will be interesting to see where it pans out, as far as Elasticsearch's path. Down from here,
for sure. This next story is all about the pages. So, Cloudflare Pages, a fast, secure, and free way for front-end developers to build and host Jamstack sites, has entered general availability. This is an ongoing part of Cloudflare's Developer Week. Matt is also a contractor for Cloudflare, so I'm going to let Matt give us the deets on this.
Sure. Well, Cloudflare Pages, it's a thing built on top of like Cloudflare Workers, which lets you deploy anything kind of Jamstack-y. I know Jamstack is a really vague definition at this point. Kind of anything that can be statically generated, right? They have great GitHub integration, so you can deploy your site from GitHub. They do build previews, everything. It's pretty cool. And it's part of Developer Week. So there's like 3 announcements going out every single day this week for different product announcements. Off the top of my head, I know we've also had Workers Unbound was GA'd yesterday, which gives you loads of extra compute at Edge in Workers. They had Workers now support WebSockets.
Yeah.
There's a partnership with NVIDIA.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, so they partner with NVIDIA now to start bringing GPUs to Workers so you can do AI stuff.
Interesting. I am really curious about the AI space. Just learning more about it and trying to integrate into apps. I see more apps doing it, so must be easier by now.
Yeah,
but
it's just lots of if statements.
But if statements you can't see or understand.
The one thing I found really cool down here, live previews with Cloudflare Tunnel, super cool, but it's like hidden way down here. Where is
Chris going to reach the bottom of the page?
I just want one sentence, and I don't remember how to command F about.
What was the sentence about?
It was the future of front end applications. Yeah, this. But if they have workers, right, and they have Cloudflare Pages, so Pages deploy the main static site. You got workers doing the dynamic stuff as far as like your API, your whatever. Storage now, they have KV and durable objects, so you can store all the stuff that's from the workers. So you have your front end, your API, your database, and your data. That's pretty much a full stack app, right?
Yeah, and you can now do the streaming stuff as well with WebSockets. It's like you can do everything. You don't need an origin anymore.
Yeah.
That sounds really cool. I like that. I'm gonna have to try it out. I'll be honest, I haven't even played with any of this yet, but
we'll have to
I'll put it on my list of things I need to do. I feel like that list is ever growing.
I know, like to me, it's just speed, right? That is the only thing that's like the cool thing that excites me is just it's blazing fast because it's in every data center around the world.
Yeah, network distance.
Exactly. Our next story comes to us from another planet. It's only been a few months, and the Ingenuity helicopter on Mars already needs a software update. If this isn't just the absolute epitome of software engineering, I don't know what is. The update is needed to modify the process in which the two flight controllers boot up so that the helicopter can safely transition to flight state. It will take time and build to test the patch, but also then it has to be uploaded to Mars. Is this the first? I wonder if this is going to be the first live software patch to another planet.
Yeah, I don't know actually. Like, I feel it must have happened before already. Like, we've got some pretty advanced stuff out there.
What about back in the day? Did they just say, "Well, it's broken. It's trash up there now"?
I think like Voyager 1 was the example I saw on Twitter. Something about that broke, and we just went, "Cool, that's broke now. Off it floats." So, I mean, like, at least we can update this helicopter so it can actually fly.
Oh, "Off It Floats" could be like a podcast title.
Oh,
Yeah, that is a good one. Okay, it says patched Toon Army Captain says patched Voyagers, so makes sense. I knew it couldn't be the first one. I just find it hilarious that we've only been there for a few months and we're already the firmware's already out of date.
Yeah. Well, also, like, this helicopter hasn't done anything, right? They dropped it on the ground, tried to turn it on,
and it didn't turn on.
That's like the last drone I bought.
Oh my gosh. It's good to know that the problems are universal across the universe. Okay, this next and last story comes out of the land of cute little critters. Mostly because you have to know the BSD mascot is Beastie. FreeBSD 13.0 was released, bringing a whole plethora of new features from updated libraries to the removal of obsolete tools. Many GNU tools have been removed, as well as deprecated. I typed a weird word in my notes as deprecated tools. I put deprecated rivers. I have no idea why I typed that in the notes. Nice. So the BSD is moving, really trying they've been thinking about, like, they want to get to a completely GNU GPL v3 GNU-less operating system, and I know they're getting close. And they are removing a lot of them, and it's pretty awesome. The kernel now also supports in-kernel framing and encryption of TLS data on TCP sockets. I know there was a big stink about FreeBSD removing WireGuard support because of security concerns from the kernel. That was interesting. You'll find that the BSD people don't play around when it comes to security. If they don't like you, they'll just yeet you out the window.
I love this comment from Dominic in chat. Sometimes in my company, it feels like we're doing patch updates to another planet.
Oh, that's relatable.
Right. Yeah, been there, done that. That one's but yeah, cool to see FreeBSD 13 come out. I used to be a big BSD fan. And they're actually still, like, you can still spin up a droplet on DigitalOcean using FreeBSD. So I'm curious if we're going to get the 13 release. We probably should. I think there's still a couple of BSD people at DigitalOcean that are like, we have to have it. So,
oh, I'm sure, and if not, like, I'm sure there are customers out there that are still using FreeBSD and will.
It has really good. It has really good use cases. It has the most advanced network stack in all of open source land, because if I remember correctly, Netflix uses FreeBSD for all of its edge routers.
Oh, interesting.
So, like, they actively contribute to FreeBSD's network stack, and, like, that's why there's a few presentations on, like, how to get 200 gigabits per second on FreeBSD network speed, and it's some of the stuff they do is absolutely bonkers, but it works and it's really cool.
You learn something new every day.
Every day, yeah. And now it's time for another game of True or False. Woo! In this game, I will present my co-host with 10 statements regarding any topic, even remotely associated with tech, because it's getting harder every day to make these. And they have to tell me if the statement is true or false. And this game is audience participatory, so go ahead to kahoot.it and enter the code 8261844 to join in with us and see, try to play along with Chris and myself, or Chris and Matt, and everyone, your name will show up. You get to be on our leaderboard. Who's going to win true or false today? So I'm going to give it about a minute and a half. So everyone join in, and includes you, Chris. Always have to remember. Yeah.
I was trying to enter in my name where it said pin. It's like invalid pin. Come on.
I was watching a screenshot. I was like, oh no, what's happening?
I'm trying to do something over there, and I'm just like trying to jump in real quick. This is what happens when you multitask.
Multitasking is hard, I will say. So, okay, we're getting there. I'm going to give it another 45 seconds. So keep them coming. And also, co-host, you have to wait at least a second or two to account for stream delay.
Sure.
So no cheating. Because I believe y'all get it probably quicker than I do. So, wow, we're getting a lot of people today.
Well, no, us three will all see it at the same time, ish.
Yeah.
But then it being broadcasted out will take a couple of seconds. So yeah.
Yeah. So just give it a couple seconds, and we'll be good. Okay, we still have people popping in. 10 seconds.
With 15 people. I love it.
Yeah. 5 seconds. We got more. We're going to do it. And here, got one at the last second. Here we go.
Good luck, everybody.
Kahoot at home. Good luck. True or false for April? I've got to come up with a bet. Stop putting the date there.
Oh, no, I think the date's useful.
Okay, here we go. The first computer virus ever displayed was a holiday message on a viewer screen and then emailed itself to others. Is this true or is this false?
It's a long sentence.
The first computer virus ever displayed a holiday message on the receiver screen and then emailed itself to others. This is false. The first computer virus was made in 1971 and was named Creeper. It displayed the message, "I'm the Creeper, catch me if you can," and then tried to propagate itself. It was developed as an experiment to see how it spread between computers. So, but let's think about that. 1971. It was not a worm. It was not. I do not believe it was a worm. I think the Morris worm was the first worm one. This one emailed itself.
Okay.
There's weird definitions. But think about that. We'd only had the internet for a year and we already had a virus.
Of course.
I thought that is actually slow.
Right?
Yeah.
Who do we got? Okay.
Great.
Ooh.
Chris and I are doing really well.
Okay. Well, did y'all even get it right? Nope. Okay. Here we go. Second question. Cadabra Inc. was the original name for Amazon.com. Is this true or is this false?
I would say you can't make that name up.
It would be a nice one to try, yes. This was true. Several names were tried before settling on Amazon.com. There was AARD.com, Awake.com, Browse.com, Bookmall.com, and Relentless.com. Fun fact, Jeff Bezos still owns Relentless.com, and I believe it just redirects to Amazon. Toon Army Captain heading up, but Matt's coming in. Next question. Right. Here we go. The most watched YouTube video of all time is Despacito. Is this true or is this false?
No way.
And there we go. It is false. It's close though. It's actually number 2. The most watched YouTube video of all time is actually Baby Shark with 8.4 billion views since its inception 4 years ago. It is the number 1 watch video on YouTube.
It's only 4 years old.
And it's only 4 years old. So let that be a thing. There are only 7.6 billion people in the world.
I think there's a opportunity for a partnership with Dio and this video.
I'm saying we can do some good things with it. There we go. Oh, Matt, you fell out.
Yep.
Next question, true or false? Greater than 60% of the world's population are internet users. Is this true or is this false?
No way.
No way.
Too high. I love that Baby Shark one because I've gone over to my families that have like younger kids and they just play it on repeat while that kid is watching.
I think that's why it's got those views. This was false. In fact, as of January 2021, 4.6 billion people, or 59.5% of the global population, are active internet users.
59.5.
59.5. I'm being a little bit, because y'all kept getting my questions
pedantic.
last week. I'm being a little bit snarky this time, not gonna lie. So
Ooh, Dominic on fire.
yeah, Toon Army Captain's doing great. Okay, here we go. True or false, greater than 90% of all internet users access the internet via mobile devices.
89.5.
89.9.
You'll find out. Depends on how pedantic you want me to be today.
If this is true, I absolutely hate this fact.
It's true. It's 92.6% of all internet users access the internet via mobile devices. Now, that doesn't mean that all traffic. So, like, all three of us would qualify as mobile device internet users because we all have a phone.
Mhm.
But so I think what this is saying is, are there people that still only access the internet via desktop, via non-mobile device? So I think that's where that's kind of going with it. But yes, over 90%.
So I guess that's kind of probably more the older generation, right?
Probably. There's probably a little bit of the older generation that
They've
just
got like
doesn't
a
have it.
Single home PC, but no smartphone.
Yeah. There are people that still like their flip phones. I just got my dad off of his. True or false? There are over 570 websites created every minute.
Toon Army Captain, are you saying Africa and Asia are big for the Baby Shark views?
It's possible. It is, honestly, it's catchy. It's catchy. Not going to lie.
Yeah, I got it stuck in my head for a bit. And I refuse to go anywhere near it now.
Trying to purge that earworm is hard. I'm glad that we're still stuck on that one. This was true. There are over 570 websites created every minute. This leads us to about 1.8 billion websites since the birth of the World Wide Web in 1991. Oh, he's saying no mobile use. Okay.
That makes sense.
That makes sense, yeah.
Do you know where these websites are being made as far as like GoDaddy or
I was not able to find that data, but we can go look for it. It is good. I think it would be good data for us to know where they're being made. Next question. True or false? An average internet user spends 8+ hours of internet on the... I can't say that.
A lot of internet usage today.
That's what happens whenever
Am I self-projecting here by answering this?
I think you probably are, Matt, but I don't want...
Pretty soon, 24 hours just plugged in all day.
We're not far off.
This was false. The average internet user spends 6 hours, 42 minutes on the internet daily. So the people that aren't using it a lot are, averaging down Matt's 24-hour usage. So, okay, Tunar, I'm curious. Okay, 4 in a row. So I'm making sure he hasn't gotten every single one right. I was like, ooh, Toon Army Captain's doing good today. I actually met him at Pi, Texas a long time ago.
Oh, nice.
Facebook has over 300 million photos uploaded every day.
Gotta feed that AIML stuff.
Right? Is this true? This is true. Facebook has over 300 million photos uploaded, 800 million likes, and over 175 million heart reactions per day.
It blows my mind how much traffic they still get.
They get unbelievable
if you look at
amounts.
Google Trends or something, for example, Facebook peaked massively back in 2012, but they're still pulling the numbers.
They're still pulling the numbers. Yeah. I wonder how many of it's bots.
Oh, probably a lot.
But they also have that Instagram traffic now.
True. Search engine Bing accounts for less than 5% of all searches. Is this true or is this false?
When was the last time you guys used Bing?
Whenever I accidentally type something in Microsoft Windows bar search.
Yes, that.
This is false. Bing accounts
Yeah,
for 6.43% of all searches, with Google accounting for over 86% of all searches.
Did you see DuckDuckGo's number?
I actually didn't. I didn't see it. I'm curious.
I'm guessing it's most of the remainder.
I imagine that's no. I mean, there's still Yahoo. There's still people that have MSN, like the default Microsoft one. Is Ask Jeeves still around? I don't think Jeeves has been around for a while. Last question. There are 12 hours of content uploaded to YouTube every minute.
Whoa. That's a very specific number.
I feel like it's bigger.
Yeah. Or smaller, but bang on 12. Channeling Mason's pedantic attitude here.
This is false. This is right. It was very specific. There are actually 24 hours of content uploaded on YouTube every minute. It only takes YouTube 60 days to create the same amount of data that we created in the last 60 years. So
that blows my mind.
Yeah, there's a lot of data. We're at, like, I think all in total, like, exabytes of data now. Matt, you got third place, 5 out of 10.
Not bad.
Waldemar. And then number
Congrats.
1 is Toon Army Captain.
Nice.
7 out of 10. Not bad.
10.
Okay,
Just
good.
quick.
So we're not, knocking it out the park. I feel like I had to write more false questions this time because Matt told me that, you tend to default to true. So
I do. That's why I only got 5 out of 10 correct.
yeah, because you're over here. If you're just going to hit true, it's not going to work. Awesome. Well, thank you everyone for showing up for True or False. We'll have another episode. We'll have another game of that next week. So be ready. And now that sound means it's time for our lightning tutorial. Every week, one of us presents a quick tutorial, hence the lightning, on a topic. And this week, Matt will be giving us a quick overview of updating your NPM dependencies and checking for any security issues. So Matt, whenever you're ready to share your screen and take it away.
There we go. So, we're going to do a really quick rundown of some NPM commands for updated dependencies and checking for security issues. So the first command we're actually going to run is npm CI. I know npm has a lot of kind of aliased short stuff, but CI is not an alias. That is the full command. And what this does is it does an install of your dependencies. If you look at the first line there, it cleans everything first, so you have a fresh base. And the other thing it does is it follows your lock file if it exists. Actually, it won't run without a lock file being present. So the idea of this is kind of, and hence the name, you use this in kind of CI environments. So you know your dependencies are exactly what's in your lock file. Whereas if you run npm I or npm install, sometimes it'll install slightly different versions and update your lock file as part of that. So I always like to use npm CI to make sure that I've got a perfectly identical build to what's tracked in Git in this case. So with that done, we now know we have a fresh base of dependencies. And the next one we're going to run is npm outdated, which will do a lovely little check for us and let us know what dependencies we have that are outdated. It'll do it color-coded here for us. So everything in red is completely outdated, and we can update it. So it's got a new minor version or a new patch version that's based on your semver symbols. I don't know what the correct word is in your package file. And then, for example, like here, you can see it's Sass loader is in amber or orange, and that's because the only available version that's newer is a major version. So it won't update that automatically because it's probably going to be some breaking changes based on kind of how semver works. So now we've got this. We can see everything that npm wants to update in red, and we can run npm update. And that will just go ahead and update everything that's outdated. So we'll give it a second here. One thing to note here, if you had something that had 0 as its major version, the logic kind of just shifts and treats what would normally be your minor version as the major version and just ignores patches because they don't exist in that case. So if the middle digit changes on a package that has a 0 major version, it'll treat that as a major update and won't update automatically as well. So here we go. We can see that it has updated kind of everything. If we run npm outdated again, we should see that there's very little left. So we've got, okay, so view i18n has now also turned up because we've done the minor version update that it had available. It's now got a major version as well. And our 2 Git dependencies will always show up as outdated just because of how Git dependencies work in npm. But we can see that it has updated everything that had a minor version update available. And then next thing we're going to do to round this up is kind of security issues. If you see on the screen here, we've got found 10 vulnerabilities, 3 low, 6 moderate, 1 high. npm does a brilliant job of kind of tracking reported security issues in dependencies, and we'll kind of report them wherever it can. So if you do any installation or update that we've done here, it will report them to you. And it's 2 commands you can run. So first of all, you can run npm audit, which will check all your dependencies and report back everything that's wrong. In this case, we can see there's some things wrong with our dependencies here. Luckily, I'm aware of these, but we can go through them very quickly. So you can see here, for example, these are marked as dev dependencies, so I'm far less concerned about them. You can see we do have some that aren't dev dependencies, and npm kind of just gives you all the information possible. And then the final command you can run is npm audit fix, and that will attempt to automatically fix dependency security vulnerabilities where it can. So this kind of is actually very similar to npm update, but it applies some extra depth logic to kind of update dependencies of dependencies where it can safely to try and alleviate these security issues. So we can see in this case from the output here, npm audit fix has only managed to fix 1 of our 10 security vulnerabilities, which isn't great, but it is kind of how it often happens with npm because so many dependencies are dependent on so many other things now. It's unfortunately quite a messy ecosystem. But yeah, it's fixed something for us. And if you want to go fix the rest, it's kind of on you at this point. You had to sit through and try and update dependencies manually, either doing kind of major version updates or even going through and patching dependencies on your own, which is what we've started doing for a couple of unmaintained things. But yeah, there you go. That was a super quick rundown.
Cool. I am terrified to go run these on my projects.
As long as your version tracks right, it's completely safe. So if I run git status now, you'll see that it's just modified my package file and my package lock file. And if actually I went wrong somewhere, I just revert these 2 files and run npm ci again, and I'll have a completely clean sort of my dependencies back where we started.
Right.
So like,
cool.
Version tracking is fabulous in this case.
So what I'm gathering is don't use any packages that have 0 to start.
Well, it's fine. It's completely fine, right? It's just they haven't yet had a major release. It doesn't change anything other than the fact that the logic therefore treats the minor version as the major version because there is no major version. But otherwise, it behaves the same.
That's cool. When were these added?
I feel like they've been around for quite a long time. Just people don't know about them. Like there's a huge number of commands.
npm package, npm check updates, or something like that. NCU, and I've used that for a long time. But this is cool. Yeah,
like I don't know. This has become a lot of my work. Annoyingly, like we have so many packages, we have so many projects that rely on so many packages, and with GitHub now also supporting Dependabot security alerts. We have like people within security teams at work that chase us when we get alerts for stuff. So a lot of my work nowadays is just updating dependencies. So I'm very familiar with these commands.
The amount of emails that I've gotten from that bot, ridiculous.
Look, you shouldn't get angry at those. They are, and honestly, the PRs that bot produces, it does a lot of sanity checking to make sure the PR is valid. So if you get a PR from the bot, it's generally okay. I mean, obviously, do your due diligence of checking that your tools, your project still builds or whatever. But generally, it's pretty good.
Awesome.
Right on.
Thanks, Matt, for that awesome tutorial. Looking forward to seeing what we have next week. And now it's time for a segment that is near and dear to our hearts. Back in my day. In this segment, we look back on significant historical events in tech and marvel at just how far we've come and feel a little bit old.
You've got mail.
I love that sound effect. Whenever you hear this sound,
you've got mail.
Means that we've all aged just a little bit more, and we're moving on to the next one. So let's go ahead and start with our first one. On April 1st, 1826, the internal combustion engine was patented by Samuel Morey. So, yeah, I did not realize that it was that old.
Yeah.
That one was a little bit shocking to me, just to say, but it is pretty cool.
Big though.
Yeah, it looks like it's
come a long way.
They have come a very long way, and soon, hopefully, they will be, in the next 100 years, hopefully they'll just be a thing of the past,
What did he do this for? If it was 1826, is it just, hey, watch me put a bomb in this cylinder?
Trains, maybe? Train power is what ran most. Well, first off, where is Samuel Morey from? Does it say was this an American engineer?
History.
American engineer, a British engineer?
It hasn't made it into the Wikipedia article.
Yeah, well, Samuel Brown has, as the patent first internal combustion engine.
American inventor, according to just Wikipedia, who worked on an early internal combustion engine. It was a pioneer in steamships who accumulated a total of 20 patents. So steamships, steam engines and steam engines and trains. It's what ran America back in the early days.
Toon Army Captain makes quite a good point. I thought it was earlier, gunpowder and stuff. Yeah, I guess, yes, internal combustion engines presumably existed quite a bit before this. This is just the first time it got patented as a set bit of technology.
Yeah.
You've got mail.
Oh, next one. I just love that. I'm just going to hit that.
You've got mail.
So fun. April 1st, 1976. By the way, a lot of these are like some of these are like April Fool's jokes. The Apple Computer Company is formed by Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak in order to sell their personal computers, later known as the Apple I computer. This revolutionized the computing industry and launched the personal computer revolution. And that is the original logo for Apple computers. It was not always an Apple. Does it tell you what the logo is? No. Okay, so Matt and Chris, what is that? Do you know why it's that logo and why
that's Newton under the apple tree?
Yes, they since they believe that the computer was going to change the world as much as it changed as much as Newton's discovery of gravity. That's why that was the original logo.
That's cool. Everything I know about logo design, all of traditional logo design tactics say don't do this.
Modern day flat, let's only use lowercase characters and pastel colors. Yes. I actually miss the day when logos looked like this. I feel like there was more to them.
Well, it's also the ability to turn it into a black and white, put it on a t-shirt, watermark.
Printing this would be a pain.
Yeah.
Yes, but I mean, you have to remember this was probably just stamped, and that's why it was like this. This was a stamp. If you've ever watched the TV show Silicon Valley, when they're talking about their logo, and they're like, "Oh, I know how you tech people like those lowercase letters." I'm like, I've never felt more called out than whenever they were trying to make that logo, and it's like, I know y'all like those lowercase letters. Like, yeah, it is
quite nice.
You've got mail.
And now one that actually fits the sound. April 1st, 2004 was when Gmail was launched. The now ubiquitous Gmail service was launched as an invitation-only beta service. It seems like Google had a tendency of doing that back in the day. At first, met with skepticism due to being launched on April Fool's Day. The ease of use and speed that Gmail offered for a web-based email service quickly won people over. The fact that Gmail was invitation only for a long time helped fuel a mystique that those who had a Gmail address were hip and uber cool. I guess that's why they did it with Google Plus. And unfortunately, that was what sank the ship. Because Google Plus never took off this way.
I miss
Google
Wave.
Plus. Forever, I mean.
Yeah. Okay.
You've got mail.
April 2nd, 1980, Microsoft's first hardware. Microsoft announced its first hardware product, the Z80 soft card. The soft card is a microprocessor that plugs into the Apple II computer, allowing it to run programs within the CP/M operating system. The CP/M was a very popular OS for early personal computers, along with much of the software written for it. In particular, the word processor WordStar is so popular that people will purchase the soft card and a companion 80 column card just to run it on the Apple II. At one point, the soft card product will bring in about half of Microsoft's total revenue. It was discontinued in 1986 as CP/M's popularity waned. So this always brings up a fun part of computing history, which is in the early part, software was free and it ran everywhere because they thought that hardware was what was going to drive sales for eternity. Everyone thought that we'll give the software away. Yeah. And now look where we're at. They're like, oh, you need a phone? Well, no, I guess the phone is a bad one, but like, oh, here's a Chromebook. Yeah, here's a Chromebook. It costs $100 and it accesses you the entire wealth of human knowledge.
Yep.
So yes, that was always one of my favorite things about it. I always laugh about it was that in the early days, they thought that hardware was going to drive the market. And in reality, which is why there was a Microsoft card working for an Apple II. I mean, when was the last time we've ever heard of Microsoft working with Apple? This was probably the last time.
To be fair, the Office suite still runs on Mac OS, right?
Yes, by popular demand. I feel like
I don't know. I mean, like good updates too.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm a G Suite fan or Google Workplace.
I am not. I think that Gmail is better, but like I don't like Google. I don't like the slides, Google Slides, because I like doing advanced animations, and there's not advanced animations in Google Slides. It's very limited.
You've got mail.
And then our last one for today, April 4th, 1994, Netscape was born. Ironically, 19 years to the day after Microsoft was formed, Mark Anderson and Jim Clark create the Mosaic Communications Corporation, which will later be named Netscape Communications Corporation. Andreessen developed the Mosaic web browser while working at the National Center for Supercomputing Applications at the University of Illinois. So Netscape Navigator, which then later on became Firefox whenever they shut down and then open sourced it. And it was the origins of Firefox.
Been a long time.
It has. The internet is an interesting place.
Yeah, I don't know. It's really, I don't know. I like to think about like where will we be this time in the future, if that makes sense. Like we've had 25 years of the internet now. What will the landscape look like in
25 more years?
5 years time? Yeah. How much more drastic changes are going to be, or are we going to reach a stasis?
I think we're going to hit Neuralink status where everything is just beamed right into the matrix, into our brains. Too soon? 25 years?
I don't know. Maybe. The future of tech, I don't know. I sometimes I have a hard time figuring out where we're going next.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm quite comfortable just being in the present.
It is. It's a fun time to be alive. It's a fun time to like just enjoy the technology we have and play with the programming languages that are popular now until they go away.
Yeah.
And now it's time for our final segment of the day. What we usually like to close with, what's on your mind. In this segment, we just go around the room and discuss what's currently on our minds. And we usually start with Matt because he doesn't show his face. So Matt, and I know Matt has some fun announcements today. So Matt, take it away.
Sure. Yeah. I'm getting old.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I feel quite like I woke up this morning. I genuinely felt old. Yeah. So I'm 20 now. It was my birthday today.
You're hurting.
I don't know how to deal with it really.
You are hurting my spirit, Matt.
New decade. I love it.
Yeah. I'm an adult. Like no longer a teenager. Yeah. It's just weird.
Chris, can you remember what it was like to be a teenager?
I mean, I'm not that old, Mason.
No,
but
I mean, like you're no, but I mean, like I can't either. I also like that was 9 years ago, and I'm over here like I go back and I think about like wow, what was Mason like when he was 19? And my only opinion is wow, I was a little turd when I was 19.
I mean, I think I'm just the same exact version of myself. Still listen to Kanye, still make websites. Not much has changed on my end, I think.
I love this is my favorite comment of the day. Army Captain says, I have an email address that's older than Matt. Wow, that makes me feel old. Yes. So on the fun fact here, this 100% means that Matt was not born in the 1900s.
Yes, correct. Yeah, no, born 2001.
Oh my goodness gracious, Matt. So Matt was yeah, okay. I'm just gonna sit here and be sad about this. So
yeah, I feel
Matt,
old. I
here, about you know what I'll say though? I'll take the positive approach. Like honestly, Matt's the future here, and it's looking pretty good, Matt. You've done some awesome stuff. Happy birthday!
It is. Happy birthday, Matt. I'm glad.
I don't know. I feel I'm not representative of the generation at all, but
yeah, we'll say you are, and we'll just call it good.
We just have to find Matt's TikTok because it has to be there, right?
I do not have a TikTok account at all. Like,
you don't partake at all?
Nope. I have the app. I created one brand account for work because I got asked to, and I deleted the app. I do not go into that because I've been told it's very addictive. It is. You're missing out. It's a lot of fun.
I think they're missing out on the creativity word though. It's like so creative.
Yes, they are so creative. I can sit there for hours and just scroll TikTok and have fun. It is
no. I'm very much a fan of Twitter. I enjoy reading everyone's random thoughts.
Yeah, I very much. I think we did this as a cold open the other episode, but TikTok's just so much more fun than Twitter.
It is.
Oh yeah, more positive. Yeah,
it is because Twitter is nothing but negative, and I can yeah.
So I don't know. On the topic of tweets, I tweeted a chain earlier this week. I really miss live production. So kind of tying back to the start, right? I wanted to get into tech theatre for a long time, and I really miss it. I've done a stint in radio as well. Yeah, I don't know. I really miss kind of just that whole vibe of being behind the scenes, responsible for putting on a fun show for someone. Yeah, and then the second bit of that was then I've really started to have kind of an interesting like conservation and animals and stuff, and like I feel like it's kind of that's a generation thing as well. Like the world is kind of slowly becoming quite an awful, messy place. And I want to put my skills that I have to use in some way, shape, or form to help the world. I don't know. I don't know how to do that. That was my tweet.
So the live production side, have you ever run a conference?
I have not.
That could be a good way to like merge the worlds.
Yeah.
We could do a Cloud Chats conference, just the three of us.
Oh, we could. Us just talking for days on end.
It'll just be just like that TwitchCon or whatever it was.
No, let's not recreate TwitchCon.
Chris, what about you? What's on your mind?
I'm really liking this line of comments coming out of chat.
Everyone's just making me feel very young, but I feel very old.
You're right. I have Pokemon version games. I have a lot of things that are older than Matt. My Matt, you're only like 3 years older than my RuneScape account.
I'm older than so. That's good.
It's barely.
Yeah. What's on my mind is I actually had a lot. Matt, your tweet made me think a lot on the same subjects for a long time. I think more to what you just said too is like the world is getting to be a negative place. Is it, or are we just so exposed to it through Twitter, through social, through like all of these things that we now have this negative outlook that we can't shake?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like even if that is the case, right? That is the world out there, and we were essentially just sheltered from it before.
I saw a good tweet from Naval. It was, if Twitter was actually representative of the real world would be on fire.
I mean, it is quite often.
Yeah.
It's a thing. Wildfires, climate change.
Yeah, I do think that, like, whenever, you know, I do think that Twitter is its own little space of negativity. And like, while I try not to partake in most of it, I do feel like it's not I do not feel like Twitter is a representation of the human race as a whole.
Oh yeah.
Like, you know, four angry Twitter comments does not mean your 3,000 users are upset with you. It means that there were 4 people that were upset with you, and they're a very vocal minority. So,
yeah, that's very true. Yeah.
Tuna Army Captain giving perspective here. It's always been doom and gloom in I guess media, texts, books, all that stuff since the beginning of time.
then I guess we'll just stop. We'll just leave it alone.
Learn Old English.
The last thing on my mind is something from earlier. We talked about search engines, and Mason said, you know, is Ask still a thing? Ask Jeeves. It ranks 324 on the global site rankings as
oh, it's still here.
Ask.com. Yeah, still here.
It looks modern.
It does. I miss Jeeves. Like,
I
why
mean-
did you remove Jeeves?
This does feel like a page entirely of adverts.
I do
yeah.
feel
this
though,
is all an advert.
yeah, I feel like though if they wanted to, they could make so much money just selling that domain.
Mm-hmm.
They could pocket hundreds of millions of dollars from that domain if they wanted.
Yeah, I mean, I know the ad play well. They're making money if they're 324 rank.
Yeah.
There's Pokemon on mine, so I'm happy about that. So there it is. There's a little Pokemon.
And these look like the tiles that you see at the end of an article, like the clickbait articles.
Mm-hmm. They do. It really pains me that they're on the front page of.
Yeah, they read like it too.
Too. Like my eyes just like, I don't know. It feels like in the modern world, my eyes have just been trained to spot ads, and the
I
entire
actually
page is
just
an
love
ad.
it. I love it. It's like, do you just want clickbait? Is clickbait the best part of your best part of the internet experience for you? Here's nothing but clickbait.
And
Clickbait for days.
we get paid for it.
Yeah.
I know, Chris. Do you want to search on it to see how good their search engine actually is?
What do you want me to do?
I don't think it's not random.
What's that person's name we just looked for? Herschel, right here. Samuel Morey. Okay, autocomplete looks good.
Yep.
Kind of slow.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 ads before you get to any real results.
Everything above the fold is an ad.
Nice.
Oh, they're just raking in money right now. Oh, Steamboat Savant. That's a cool tagline. And then everyone's asking for membership now. The web is getting
The web is weird.
interesting.
I really appreciate sites that are just actual content, no ads, no pop-ups.
I always say that a blog either lives long enough, or no, a blog either, what's that Batman quote? A blog dies the good guy,
dies a hero or lives long enough to see itself become the villain.
or lives long enough to put ads on it. And that's how all blogs go now.
Oh my goodness.
All right, you're up, Mason.
Okay, well, back with like Matt's talk about conservation and stuff. You know, I've always been into conservation, and you know, I grew up in nature and stuff. So I went kayaking last weekend, and it's nice to be out in nature. I enjoy it. It was first kayak trip of the year. It was cold. Even though it's like 80 degrees in Texas, it's still, the water still takes time to warm up. So it was kind of chilly, but went kayaking out on Town Lake here in Austin, which was pretty nice. And yeah, I'm just looking forward to getting to do more outdoorsy things
Yeah.
this year. I went and got my first vaccine this week. So
Oh, sweet.
yeah, so that it wasn't, the side effects weren't awful. I was feeling like bleh for most of the time. However, it's also like the weather's changing in Texas. Like we had a cold front and it brought in a whole bunch of allergies. So once again, we're over here playing the game that I've played every day for the last 6 months. Is it COVID or allergies? So far it's been allergies. So
Oh, that's good.
yeah, so it's been fine, but like I'm excited. I'm excited for hopefully for the world to open back up and for us to get back to normal and get to do in-person conferences. I have like a monthly chat with a whole bunch of conference organizers, and we were just last night we just sat around dreaming of the world to come, because we miss the old conference world.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. I'm very introverted, right? I don't go outside ever. Even I'm starting to miss going outside.
Wow, that's something, Matt.
Yeah. I need to go outside at some point and just have normality again.
The sun is a good thing.
It is. It's a very good thing. So much so that it burned me last weekend. So it's a love-hate relationship. Well, that's pretty much what we have for today. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up with our upcoming events. Chris is doing a tech talk next week on getting started with Laravel and Inertia.js. So, Chris, what's that going to be about?
So there's this big push. Well, not big push. I hope it gets bigger, but it's a push to kind of simplify the connection between the front end of your app and the back end of your app. There's a lot of code in the middle there, like the API calls. Inertia is an idea that says, you know what, let's kind of get rid of the API calls. Let's smash the back and the front together, and still make it a real-time kind of modern day looking application. So we'll be doing that next Wednesday and just kind of digging into it and seeing how we can make these modern apps, but not write so much code.
I am
Yeah,
always down
link
for
in
less
the
code.
chat. Less code, less bugs.
Well,
Yeah.
hopefully.
Hopefully.
Oh, wait, that is next Tuesday. Sorry, I got my date wrong.
Okay. And then Pycon 2021 virtual tickets are now available. So if you would like to attend Pycon 2021 virtually, the schedule is up, the workshops are up, all of the things they're doing are up. But yeah, those are now available to the general public, and they're a lot cheaper this year because they are because it is a virtual event. So it's a great conference. I'm looking forward to getting to do it back again in public sometime soon.
Yeah.
So, last thing as always, it's time for my joke of the day. So,
Okay, bracing myself.
are we ready for the joke of the day?
Never. But
This is what you get, Matt.
Never.
Why do app developers have such high insurance rates?
Why?
They're always crashing.
All right, it's pretty good.
yeah,
Ah,
that was
yeah.
that was up there. I think that's one of the best ones we've had.
Oh, thank you.
I'm like, oh, do I have to go check my insurance rates right now?
Awesome. Well, thank you everyone for attending today. It's been great seeing y'all, and we will see you next week at the same time for another episode of Cloud Chats.
Yeah.
See you
Thanks,
then.
everybody.